Good morning everyone and welcome back to the farm. It's setting up to be a very beautiful day here in central Illinois. Over the last few days we had an accumulated rain total of probably a half an inch. A lot less than what they were calling for, though they are forecasting some more next week. I'm not sure exactly what, but we will be out of the fields for at least a while. I wasn't really expecting to get any kind of field work done. If we would have missed these rains, I think that the ground would have worked to the point where some people possibly would have considered putting on some spring anhydrous. I do know the other day that people were top dressing some of their wheat. Wheat farmers like to apply different layers of nitrogen throughout the season, probably spraying some kind of UAN, so a urea ammonium nitrate product. Liquid nitrogen is what it is. 32%, 28% give or take. What is so great about this rain for them is that when that nitrogen is on top of the soil, it needs a rain to wash through the profile. Those guys are probably really ecstatic with the amount of rain we had. It wasn't a flood, so no crops are going to be damaged, but their nutrients are getting down to the ground. I'm actually kind of glad that it rained because I would be afraid that I'd have the field cultivator out right now doing way too much field work for this early in the spring. Today we're going to continue our GPS project that I've been working on. Not mapping any more fields. I have all the data arranged, organized, and filtered the way I like. We are going to get our monitors out of storage, put them in the tractors, and then I'm going to upload a clean slate of information to those screens, wipe out all the old, unorganized stuff that we've had over the years. Not to blame Dad, but he's terrible with technology, and we've got like 30 field names for some fields. That's a little bit dramatic. We have 3 or 4 field names. The big issue that causes is in the fall when we're trying to keep track of yields and map data in the fields. When one combine's mapping on one farm and another combine's mapping on a different farm name, merging that data together can be actually really challenging and it doesn't sync well. Hopefully this gets us clean information across all of our equipment and we don't have any headaches next fall. And for next spring, it'd be nice just to have RTK lines on all 5 monitors. All right, everyone, we're gonna get to work. Don't forget to like the video, and we have some special visitors today. My beloved dogs. Employee 1, why are you in the front seat? I've got a net in there specifically to keep them out of the front. He's somehow in there. And dog 2, let's go, boss. The big money employees. They're actually really good help. Don't have to pay them at all. Just keep them fed and occasionally throw a tennis ball. Marking his territory. His name is O'Malley and her name is Murphy. As you can tell, they're very obsessed with tennis balls. They're also border collies, for those of you who are not familiar with dogs. I like to bring them out here to the farm whenever I can. I live in town, my yard's not near as big as this, and these high energy dogs can get bored very quickly. Like to let them burn off a little steam. I don't always have the luxury of bringing them to work. A lot of times I'm doing things where they just can't come along. This GPS stuff though is relatively simple and I can keep an eye on them while I do it. 1 out of the 5 monitors is missing. That is the one we were using in the Gator to map. We're going to take the other 4, hook them up to the tractor, mount them in the back. These 3 are all going to be on 4-wheel drive tractors, and that will be on my planter tractor, the 8285R. You're probably wondering, if they're all Greenstar 3 2630 monitors, why does it matter where they go? Well, they are the same monitors, but they do not all have the same software activations. These 3 are all standard SF1, the lowest level of guidance. We'll use those all on tillage. This one though, which will be used on the combine and my planter tractor, has swath control, which is really important for the soybean planter. That's what causes our row shutoffs to activate. You have to have the swath control program for your row clutches on the back of your planter to work. If you don't have this software on your monitor, they won't work. Row sense is just combine steering, and then SF1 steering as well. Basic level steering, but we have the swath control. So we're gonna load all these up, put them in the truck, and install them. Okay, we just have to get the last monitor in the RTK dome, and then we're gonna be ready to head over to the main machine shed and install all that. Interesting. It's an interesting building. Monitors unhooked. Okay. And our very expensive dome is held on by just one lever on the bottom side. And then pull the lever, pops off backwards. Slide it somehow. Somehow it comes off. Pull it. Okay, there we go. All right, let's try to do this very carefully because these are both very breakable. Get that one you'll tuck under. You wouldn't think that one of these 2630 monitors would really be that expensive. I was looking online the other day. Due to the shortage of chips for electronics, they're having a hard time getting these out. So like the supplies of them are extremely low. I saw these monitors right here priced for $10,000 a piece. So right here alone, we have $50,000 worth of monitors. And then I saw this dome priced for $10,000 as well. Now someone may be trying to gouge on the market online. I don't know. It's very shocking to realize that we have $60,000 worth of GPS steering technology here in the back of my pickup truck. I believe the original price on all these though is around $5,000 a piece for the monitors and probably $4,000 or $5,000 for the dome and then the radio receiver. So just some crazy things going on. There's been a large amount of unprecedented things going on in the world. All the cold weather in Texas causing shortages of all sorts of products you could never imagine. The electronic silicon chip shortage, I haven't really done much research on that exactly. I do know though that that is also affecting a lot of industries as well. We talked about the new truck. The crazy thing is that the supply of new pickup trucks is very low. Part of the reason that the old one was traded off is because the value on used pickup trucks is still really high. We got a great deal trading it off, but these dealerships are having a hard time getting these new pickup trucks coming in. Obviously, a lot of people are buying them because they're new and they're nice. There are other circumstances though where people are ordering trucks that probably will not be in for 5 or 6 months, or at least that's what I've heard. The supply chain gets disrupted pretty quickly. We've got COVID, cold weather, trade wars, all these things going on at once. It creates a lot of headaches for manufacturers. But don't worry everyone, we're still farming. Come here, let's go for a ride. Murphy, let's go for a ride. Good pops, we're just relocating. We can keep an eye on our precious cargo. Release for a couple seconds till it kicks me out. Doesn't like to let you watch the camera while you drive. Not a long haul though. Before I let you guys out, we need to have a talk. Do not eat any rat poison. Okay? Capiche? We agreed on the rules here? Alright. I've been trying to do a better job on this truck, keeping the seats and the interior in a little bit better condition. On the last one, I kind of let the dogs just run wild. I'm trying to isolate them to the back. I put these nice Carhartt seat covers in. The leather's really nice. I hate to cover it up. I'd rather have it covered up with something like this that looks nice but is easily cleanable versus just having my leather all dirty and beaten down after a few years of driving it. I even actually doubled down. I've got these towels down. And this divider is supposed to keep them out of the front when I'm not in here. You saw earlier though that they somehow managed to get over it. I don't know if they just kind of climb over it. Its days may be limited. Okay. Oh man, we're gonna need some tools. What we're looking for is a 10mm wrench. That is what secured all of our monitors. Well, my bag fell over, so some of my tools got a little rowdy. Still better than a toolbox. Bam. Ratcheting 10mm. Exactly what we need. You're probably supposed to secure your wrenches somehow so they're not loose in there. Figure that out some other day. Everything looks like it made it a half mile in one piece. That's good. Get these doors open. There really was no reason for me to open both of the doors other than the fact that I just wanted more sunlight so I could see better when I was working. Plus, who wouldn't want to see all these tractors? We will just start with the front one. Nothing fancy here. Open her up, grab the monitor. There is a wiring harness. I don't know if we need that or not. We'll just take it just in case. And better get a bracket on so we won't need the wrench. Alright guys, you're gonna have to stay on ground level. Don't try to come up here. Turn the battery on because we're gonna need some power. This is the grain cart tractor and it runs the vertical till in the fall. It probably actually won't do anything in the spring other than be a backup. It's nice to have when you get stuck. First thing we're gonna do is plug the wiring harness in. In my years of experience, it seems that if you do this first, it's easier. It's in that way. and plug that in. Go ahead and turn the key on. Turn the screen on. At least it should. There we go. Screen's booting up. I'll finish putting this together and then we can do our calibration or screen cleansing. They use a serrated washer or a bushing. I'm not entirely sure what this is called. When it tightens down, there's one on both sides. That helps the screen stay in one position. Jeez. Mr. Loose Hands today. The monitor's hooked up, it's working, it's registering that it's hooked up to a receiver, which I already have one up on top of this tractor. What we'll have to do at some point, like we do before every season, is go in and calibrate our TCM, like we did on the RTK Dome the other day. Hey, what are you doing? Don't step on that. They're starting to cause trouble. It really only needs to be done, let's say if you take a dome off, put it back on, relocate it to a different position or on a different tractor. I like to do it just so our lines are pretty accurate. All right, now here's the major part. We are clearing out all of the data from this screen. Now to do this, we're gonna go to our Green Star tab. We're gonna go to memory, which I guess it's already activated, erase data. And now we have two options. We can do documentation data, which is the type of data you would collect from tillage, harvest, all that jazz, or we can do all data. Now all data is what we're going to do. This deletes everything. Documentation, setup and information, maps, totals, and transfer logs, which the only things we really use here are documentation and maps, and totals I guess too, but transfer logs, information, we don't use that. So we're going to do this. This is no going back. Delete. All the files should be gone. That is why we have this that we've worked on for the last few days. All of our organized fields and RTK lines are in here. I'm going to boot this in. Basically going to start fresh on our Green Star monitor. Won't be any mess or disorganized stuff. Job done. Hit OK. It still says it has memory used. Now when we go in, nothing. Mapping, nothing. Green Star, nothing. We didn't lose any of our activations though, that's good. That is the program that is allowed on this tractor. So that is what we have is AutoTrack SF1. Fortunately, we don't have to redo any of that stuff. It doesn't look like it cleared out our implements, which I was worried that it would, but it didn't. Okay. Now we're gonna plug this in. Should beep here in a second. Import data, import name, default, begin transfers. Replace. Yep. All right. Starting from scratch. We're done. Remove the USB. Hit accept. What we're looking for here is to make sure all of our clean fields in here. Now this is what I spent a whole lot of time over the last year doing, getting all these fields organized, putting in that new one the other day. So now I'm going to have it so all 5 of these tractors have access to the same property lines. That really does not matter a ton for the field cultivators this spring. They're not going to do a lot of, auto steer. Most of what they'll do is hand steering. That's just preference. But there are times when you're working a property line where you just cannot tell where you should be working. That's where they're going to have the option to pull up the field, pull up the line, center it where they want, and then take off. It's that easy. Now, whether or not they actually use those features that I'm presenting to them, unlikely. I'm just giving them the opportunity to make their jobs easier. They probably will not take it though. Not my problem. I'm just a planter driver. I'm gonna shut this one off. And I'm gonna get to work on the other 2 4-wheel drive tractors. I'm not gonna bore you guys with the same thing. I'll tune back in after I get to the planter tractors because we're gonna have to do a little bit of different stuff with them. We just finished up the 3 4-wheel drive tractors and we didn't even need the 10mm wrench. I must have not remembered correctly how we disassembled them. I think we may have actually gotten smarter over the years and stopped unbolting the bracket off the back of the monitor and just unscrewing the adjustment part on the mount, which is just one thing that's easy to do. Now we got to do the 2 planter tractors. Looks like they both need the dome put on and then the monitors, and then I have to do some calibration stuff. We will do mine first, right here. Take our bracket and take our monitor. Turn the battery on. Okay, that's done. There's the 6000 receiver we use for this tractor. I took it off this fall thinking that we needed it on the combine. The combine has one of those ITC receivers though, so a much older system than this, and it didn't need it. May need it next year though. I'm a fan of having this monitor as high as possible. I like to be able to adjust on the fly up here when I'm going through the field, as opposed to having it all the way down here and having to look down. Now, it does obstruct the view a little bit more. I think it's worth, though, just being able to be upright all the time. It looks like we are going to need to use the wrench, though. So I knew at least a couple of them had it. Snug them up, but we don't want them to be overly tight. It's just a monitor. And now, let's plug this in. Secured. And bam. Wonder if they make a longer one of these. That'd be nice. What are you weirdos doing? Yep, that's a vertical tail. You're acting very suspicious. I'll tell you, hard to find good help these days. Snap this in place. Make sure that's on there. I wouldn't want that to fall off in the field. Yep. Secure. This is where it hooks in. Make sure it's the right direction here, just like that. Okay. Good to go. Now we just need to look at the monitor. Do the same thing we've been doing to all the other tractors. This is just the tractor display. That's going to have all our diagnostics and performance statistics for the tractor. That's going to be all the guidance. The planer tractors are a little bit different because I'm trying to extract a little bit more data before I wipe the monitor. The one thing I need to have correct are the tractor offsets, the planer offsets that'll be hooked up to this, and then the timing for the row clutches. It took a lot of trial and error a few years ago to figure those out exactly, and if we lose those, it would take a lot more trial and error. If they're not set correctly, basically when we pass a line that we've already planted, the planer is supposed to shut off. Now the timings are what make it decide when to shut off. It could shut off too early and we leave a big gap of unplanted ground, or it could shut off too late and it's essentially a waste of a program because it's not saving a seed. I'm just making sure I capture all this data before I wipe everything. I don't want it to be off. I've been digging through the menu a little bit and it turns out that that information will not show up until you're actually hooked up to the implement. So I have to be hooked up to my planner right there, and then the 8310R will have to be hooked up to the ExactEmerge planner back here before it's going to display those settings on the monitor. For that reason, I'm going to refrain from resetting the monitors until I am 1000% certain that I have archived the information I need. That way we don't have any trouble come planting time. We'll go ahead and set up the monitor on this tractor. That's very quick. We'll just wait on the actual data. All right, last but not least, the RTK dome and the other Greenstar 2630, and then we're done. At least with this project. The help's getting kind of worn out, it looks like. We'll distract him for a little bit more. Okay. That'll buy us about 30 seconds to work. He's got an interesting bracket design here. I know for a fact that he wants his monitor right there. He's not a fan of the vertical monitor deal that I like. Hopefully we can make quick work out of this. I'm getting hungry. Make sure we have it the right direction. This is the easiest way I've found so far to do these. You flip them upside down and you do the bottom one first. And now we move it down. And we have plenty of visibility to do the top one. Be nice if you had the wrench the right way. And he does not have a wiring harness in here. How does that happen? It's got to be in the combine. Guaranteed. All right, let's go climb up in a combine. Okay. I'm looking for a wiring harness. That smells in here. Nope. Well, that's where it would be. It's not in here. It's in here. Nope, just toilet paper. Maybe it's in here. Nope, nothing important. Maybe it's back here. Nope, just trash. All right, well that was a waste of energy. We see one in the 9670. Does not appear so, so we're missing a wiring harness. Which... Oh man. What in the world? O'Malley, you better stay away from him. I'd say he's actually dead. O'Malley, get away from him. I chased this guy around about 6 months ago for hours. I kid you not, I chased him all the way around the barn trying to get him out, and he never left. Come on, get out of here. Run! Run! Faster! Look at his ugly little tail. Towards the light, no! Oh man, it's gonna be a long morning. It's over, Anakin. I've got the high ground. You underestimate my power. This is why we don't want you in here. You just walk on everything. No respect. You're just kind of being a scoundrel. You gotta be kidding me. Really? That's what he gets, I guess. A moment of silence for our fallen comrade. We're just gonna leave him. Worry about that some other day. Good eye, O'Malley. We'll hook this dome up and call this project done for now. Get in place. Not going anywhere. Mount it. It's that easy. Make sure I shut the batteries off, yep. That way we don't have dead tractors all the time. We're not gonna worry about the 8310R for now. Like I said, we really need to hook the planters up before I can make those final fine-tuning adjustments to them. I don't wanna do anything that I can't reverse and have to relocate that data somehow. So we're gonna skip that step. We're gonna put the boxes away and then we'll be done with the auto steer stuff for now. Essentially what we just installed in all of our tractors are the eyes and the brain of the steering system. The Greenstar receiver being the eyes and the ears, communicating with a satellite somewhere up in the atmosphere, who knows where, and then the screen being the brain that communicates all of that information and takes feedback from the tractor and other information centers and keeps that tractor going straight. Now obviously our tillage tractors, we're not paying as much to have the higher tier of accuracy, but we do pay a little bit more of a premium for a better program in our planter tractors. That way they can steer a lot straighter and our planting rows hopefully look good. Not always the case though. We do run into issues with the 8310R and our high-speed ExactEmerge planter. The tractor cannot keep the planter straight when it's pulling over 10 miles an hour and it hits a really soft spot in the field. I don't know if any of you in the comments or watching this video are Greenstar experts. Is there anything we can do, with the exception of buying an implement steering system, to keep our planter straight going through the field? It doesn't happen all the time, but there will be places out in the cornfield where you'll just see the planter do one of these. And you know the only reason can be that the planter is shifting side to side and the tractor is doing its best to stay on the row, it's just not doing it. If any of you guys are experts out there, I'd appreciate your feedback. I'm sure there's a lot of different things you can do, but we just haven't quite figured it out. Okay, everyone say bye to the tractors for now. We're gonna take off. Murphy, you are an exact example of why I want to keep my truck clean. You're a mess. But did you have fun? You guys have fun at work? No. We're not going back to work. I mentioned a few videos ago that in one of our barns we had 4 DMI wagons, gravity wagons, that we really don't use that much, and I don't think they necessarily need to be stored in such a high priority storage location. I'm going to take a look at those and see if my one-man army is strong enough to move all those to a different storage location where maybe we keep equipment that's not quite as important or doesn't have as much value. Because let's be honest, those wagons are not really worth that much, and I'd rather have more room in that nice closed concrete overhead door barn for more important things like corn heads, for instance. Which is kind of the trade I'm looking to do here, is move these wagons right now, and then at some later point this season I'm going to move the corn heads back to the other barn on our extra carts. We'll see how it goes. The only thing that can possibly be wrong with these wagons is that the tires are flat. When I moved them last year or 2 years ago, I don't recall, we had them in a different barn that we tore down. I had to air about every single one of them up. Well, we're 4 for 4 right now. 8 out of 8. I need some air. Oh, watch it be the back one that's flat. What kind of luck is this? Pretty much 11 for 12, and the farthest back corner one is pretty darn low. How hard is this going to be? This may be a two-hand project, so I'm gonna set you guys down. You can watch me struggle with this. That's not that bad. I know what you're thinking. Why am I swinging this out so far? I'm going to try and take them home in a train. If I can hook them up now by hand, it's going to be a lot easier. Whew. That was a lot more effort than I'd realized when I voluntarily chose to start this project. Now I gotta finish it. To be honest with you, most of these wagons were used prior to my start on the farm. Used them a lot more when I was younger. We have used them every now and then for just an odd job. Realistically though, these are not an efficient way for us to move grain around because we have large semis. Heck, it would take all 4 of them just to unload the grain cart. What I do know is they all have a little bit of a tongue on the back, and I think I can drive them all to the other barn in a train. Man, that is a beautiful sound. If you disregard the fact that graffitiing a train car is definitely a crime, you do have to appreciate the art form. I think a lot of those people are really talented. They just choose a very bad way to express their talent. Tires are low, but they're not flat. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cheat a little bit on this one. I think I can drive it like that. We're gonna get the 6430 going. See if it'll start. Back up there, hook it up, and we'll be good to go. That's a pretty big if though. The 6430 is notorious for not starting. Battery issues all the time. That's why everything needs a battery shutoff. Feeling lucky. Come on. Oh, no problem. We will go C1. Oh. Got any lights on this thing? Lights. Where would lights be? Is that it? No. That's gotta be it. No, no, no. That's a windshield wiper. Where in the world are the lights? Oh, they're there. Where they almost always are in a John Deere tractor. Yeah, that's exactly what I think C1 was too much. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but all I have in the truck is this 1,000-pound ratchet strap. I'd rather have a chain, but you gotta make do with what you have. We also need to clear this trailer, which if we go straight out, shouldn't be an issue. Worst case scenario, I buy 2 new tires. That all worked really well. Update on the tire though, it was completely flat. It's almost off the rim. That's actually not good for this project, because I believe that'll have to be reseated unless I can try and put air in it. We're gonna definitely move these for now and then see how the rest unfolds. Okay, we're on the road. We've only got about 2 miles to go, but we have to drive pretty slow. These things aren't the sturdiest. We have arrived to their final resting place. Unless, of course, one of you wants to buy them. They are for sale, as I mentioned before. Before we do anything too extreme and take one of these tires off to use as a spare, I believe that we may have an extra over in the red barn. So we're gonna check. I'll tell you what though, I don't know how people drive around gravity wagons in the fall. Just driving these 2 empty things around was giving me anxiety. They're just all over the place. Around harvest time, you'll just see someone hopping along, 3, probably 500 bushel wagons. They're carrying 1,500 bushels behind them in a tractor. Don't have any trailer brakes or anything. Guess the semi in front of them will stop them. I do understand though, it's an extremely cost-effective way to move your grain, especially if you're a smaller farmer. If we had a tire, it would be back on this back wall somewhere. It's where we keep our collection. Man, I just know everything. I think that's the right tire. Oh yeah, that's the right. And for the sake of simplicity, we're going to grab the hydraulic jack. Should we go with the green one or the yellow one? I've actually never used the green one, so I'm just going to assume that one's the one to use. Oh. Well, that's heavier than the tire. That's much better. It would help if I had it angled the right way. This seems somewhat unsafe, but we gotta do what we gotta do. What in the world? Where'd that just come from? Don't know. Yeah, they're pretty good. And the new one. All right, we're good to go. Slow the old one up. As you can see, we're kind of running out of daylight. That's not going to stop me from moving this gravity wagon to the other ones. I think I am going to refrain from doing the fourth one today. My main reason being that I can't see in the barn very well without a lot of sunlight, and that front boat that I need to move is not ours. It's someone who we let store a boat in our barn, and I'd feel extremely bad if I scratched their boat moving it around in the dark. So we're going to call it quits on that project. We'll relocate this and be done. I opened up an entire lane of storage, which is a victory in my book. Three out of my intended 4 wagons got to the final location. I was hoping to put them today. I'm going to wait to put them in the barn. The boss is a little bit particular about how he likes things. Might as well just let him do it as he pleases. We have to run back over to the farm, drop off this flat tire and the jack. Gotta pet the dog. The rules. Don't make the rules. She's speedy today. She's coming back for another lap. Oh. Why'd you put that so far in the truck? Good place for that. It's been really bothering me for the last few hours that I could not find the cable I was looking for. I know it's here somewhere. Is it lost? I don't know. How do you define lost? Is it on the farm? Yes. Do we know where it is? No. Whatever you want to call that. If you call that lost, then yes, it is lost. But whatever's lost can be found. Really, it's a question of where Marty left it last. First place I looked in one of our 9460Rs, and there's an extra. And this is totally not the grain cart and vertical tillage tractor. I'm not the one who operates this and would be responsible for anything in it. It was definitely Marty's fault, not mine. That was very satisfying. Now I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight. Boop, boop, boop. All right, everyone, I'm gonna be closing the doors up on this shed. We're pretty much done with work for the day. If we had anything to do, we couldn't do it because virtually no sunlight remaining. I'm gonna go watch my beloved Illini win a Big Ten tournament. Wish us luck, ILL baby. As always, I appreciate your support. Thank you for tuning in. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you wanna see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great night. Peace.